I go back over here and I say the last 3 days and I click Bucks Hot Sheet, here are the 149 things that occurred in the last 3 days. Again, the 149 changes that happened. Bunch of new listings with this one listing went from pending to closed. This listing went from active to expired. Of course, if you want all the details on any of these, you can click the MLS number. If you wanted to print any of these, view any of these, you could, of course, tag listings, choose email, print, all of that. But this, again, is a tool for you so that you're aware of what's happening. And probably the way that I would run Hot Sheet versus Market Watch would be, again, in that section where we were under clients called Dashboard, I would probably set Hot Sheets up for a smaller area and then make the Market Watch setup for the larger area. So let's say I go into Market Watch. It's kind of the same thing here. It's like a kind of a bigger Hot Sheet. I can go in here and choose Customize in the Market Watch section and set Market Watch up to say, show me Bucks, Montgomery, and let's say Philadelphia. That's what I want to see at a high level. They're the 3 counties you're probably doing business in around here. And I didn't choose anything else. I could only choose detached if I wanted, or just row or something like that. But really, in this case here, all I really care about on Market Watch is that I want to see activity in those 3 geographic areas. I click Save, and now I can change just how I do it. I can pick one category at a time. So if I go to residential and I say, show me activities in the last 3 days, here's what's going on in those 3 counties in the last 3 days. There's been 219 new listings. 158 listings closed in the last 3 days in Philly, Montgomery, and Bucks. And 20 properties had a price increase. Good luck with that. 202 properties had a price decrease in Philly, Montgomery, Bucks over the weekend, basically. So Market Watch, bigger picture. Hot Sheet, smaller picture. Great question about Hot Sheet.
You can't just get a do only on the Market Watch?
Yeah, you can do that. You can go down here under Market Watch and you can say, well, you actually can't choose new only because it's there by default. New listing is going to be there by default.
I didn't choose it.
That's the difference. In Market Watch, you really don't get a chance to pick that. You only get a chance to basically choose the geography, the price, the type, that kind of thing. It's going to be, now of course, if I click on new listing 219, it is going to bring me the list of the 219 properties that are the new listings. And of course then,
There's no way to separate the counties, like if you wanted to compare what's going on in each of those 3 areas.
sure,
Is there a barcode or is there any kind of chart?
you can do that. You can either, there's a couple of easy ways to do it. One of the ways is you can add a column onto your list called county. So I could go into any one of these columns up here at the top, and I can click in here, and I can say, insert a column, and add a column called county. So there's the field called county, and click apply. So now basically what happens is, I've added a new column in here, and if I just click on the word county now they're immediately just giving me the Bucks, then the Montgomery, and the Philadelphia. So it's geographic.
Is there a stats at the end of it or anything like that?
Sure, you could tag all of these, and I could go to stats, and then choose tabular, and I immediately get statistics on all those listings.
How did you create that column again?
Yep, this is a fairly common thing from any list of properties in Bright MLS. Let's go back to where we were before. Let's go under search and go to residential sale, and make sure they understand that there is a drop down at the top here called recent searches that I'm pretty sure you know about it. You can get to any of the recent, like the last 50 searches you did. So if I go back out here to the list of 76 listings we had earlier, I don't have to reproduce it. Here's those 76 properties. Let's say I want to get some quick stats on those 76 listings. The way you do it is you tag them all by checking all. You come down to the bottom on this actions menu here and you click on stats. And then the only other thing you can do is click this link called tabular. And when you click on that, you immediately get statistics on any list you're looking at in Bright MLS. And by the way, exactly the way it was in Trend. So if you're ever trying to size up a list of properties, matter of fact, let me show you this because we're talking about it and then we'll move on to just a bunch of Q&A. I do want to show you under My Listings really quickly how to put a listing into the program, just so you have an idea of just what it looks like. But let's go out to search for a moment here. And let's build a search to say, show me everything in, let's say, give me a name of a development around here that's a pretty busy development where there's a lot of activity.
Flowers Mill.
Hi Howard, I didn't even know you were here. Good morning. Sorry, he won. So if I type in Village Shires in Bucks County, I'm gonna go in here and say, show me all the active listings, show me everything that closed, let's say in the last year. So I'm gonna say 0-365. Show me anything that might have expired, let's say in the last 60 days. Maybe I'm going out on a listing in this area. And also show me anything that's pending right now. I'm gonna wanna know all this information when I go talk with that seller, right? So I'm gonna size it all up. Let's say I only really care about listings that have exactly 3 bedrooms and that are detached. Is that a detached community?
There's some detached in there,
Not everything.
There's a little of everything?
yes. More townhouses.
More townhouses?
Yes.
Let's go into row townhouses instead. Let's say, show me listings that have exactly 3 bedrooms at a row townhouse. There's 19 properties on this list that sold or expired or are currently active. If I go out to the list here of the results, I mean, they're kind of all mixed up, but if I want to make sense of it really quick, I can tag them all. Under Actions, go to Stats, and then click Tabular. And I'll get statistics on everything going on exactly right now. So in Village Shires, for 3-bedroom row houses, the average price right now is $253. And the average days on market is 17 days on market. Matter of fact, there are 17 active listings right now in that development. There's 2 listings that are pending. The average price before they went pending was $237,450. And for, I'm sorry, these are closed listings. There are no active listings in there right now at all, apparently, at least what I chose. An interesting stat here, for the closed listings, sellers in that development are getting almost 99% of their original asking price. So, you know, they're not reducing the price hardly at all. So you have this information with you when you go out there. The seller said, you know, we know the average price is basically $253. You go out there and the seller says, yeah, we're thinking about listing for $325. You immediately kind of know you got a problem because really the average price of sales are about $253. The highest priced one that sold in the last year was $289. I can see that one. And that one took a lot longer to sell. It was 78 days on market. Average days on market for the others are 17 days. So that's kind of cool too. So you can do that on any list of properties in Bright MLS. Questions about anything so far?
I have a question. You select all, and there's 2 pages. Is it selecting the second page or just the first page?
Select all is, like for instance, if I was looking at only a list of 25 properties here per page, so I'm only looking at 25. If you went into this box at the top and clicked there, you're only tagging the first 25 on that page. But if you want to make sure you tag them all, the way to do it is at the top of this list, go to check all, or check none, or just check the ones on the page, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. All of these are great questions,
You
guys.
click the box and then click all?
Well, yeah, you can. But if you click the box, you're only picking the ones on the page.
Yeah.
Anytime you click on this, since I'm viewing 25 per page, I've only technically now checked, well, and there's only 19 on the list, so it doesn't really matter. But if I had a list of 500 properties,
Okay,
when you click this box right here, you'd only be selecting the first 25 on that list.
so you click off to get all the stuff in.
Yeah, select all,
All right.
get you all of them. It's a real common question too, by the way. Hi.
Hi, is there any way to change that 25 per page as
Mhm.
a default?
Yeah, you can change it
By
over here,
default.
make it 250, and then just click this little button, the little gear right here, and you tell the system, take whatever my list looks like right now, make it my default.
Thank you.
And I think most of you probably know this already, and a lot of you were at the last training that I did over here, so you should already know by now that, you know, you can move these columns around, that you can take a column on this list, like if I take the list office name and I say, I don't care about this, I can click up here in that column and choose remove it, and when I remove it, it gets rid of it, and when I move my price over here, the point is, if you want to make this stick, the changes that you made stick around, you got to click that gear. And when you click that gear, and then you take that little first option there that says, take my default view right now, take the view I have right now, which includes showing me 250 per page, with the columns set up the way that I have them, and make this my default. It renames this whole report My Agent One Line. So the original Agent One Line is still here, but My Agent One Line now is the one that I saved. That's the way I want to look at it. That's how you do it.
And where do you go to add a column again?
Same place you go to remove one, just go into any one of these columns, click in that colored area, and there's an option right here called Insert Column. Because maybe you want the name of the subdivision in here, or the number of fireplaces, or square footage. I can choose insert column, and then we show you, here's all the things you can put in here.
Or days on market.
Yeah, maybe I want days on market in here. I can just type in DOM, choose DOM, click apply, and now the days on market field is gonna now be on my list too.
And
And
if
they
you wanted to
take it
delete,
and move it where you want it.
you can delete county, because we know we're only looking in Bucks maybe.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then it'll just save it, and you won't have that there anymore.
Exactly, and you should already know now, this MLS number, we changed the MLS number to be 2 letters for the state, and then 2 letters for the county, and then the rest of the numbers. So you're gonna see a lot of PABU in here, right? Pennsylvania, Bucks County, PAPH, Philadelphia, PAMC, PA, Montgomery County. So it's a new way of looking at these MLS numbers. That was a suggestion from the folks in the south who wanted that, and we enacted that, because we thought it was a good idea. Yeah.
That is a good idea. At this point with the PABU and then like the other ones just have digits,
Mhm.
what's the differentiation on that? Like, is it like the PABU is a new entry since Bright started and the older numerical ones are like older, or?
Yeah, so when we really started Bright MLS last September of 2017, it's really 2 Septembers ago, holy smokes, we gave everything these big, long numbers. But then the idea of putting these letters in, we mulled it around for months during 2018, and we only did it like right before Thanksgiving. So only the ones that went on the market really since November 15th or so
Okay.
are the ones that you're seeing in here that have the letters. So through attrition, you'll start to see all the ones
Okay.
with only numbers kind of just go away. And all the new ones that come on, every new listing that comes into the system
It's
has
gonna
letters,
have the
yeah.
letters. Okay,
That's
thank
the-
you.
that's the-
And what do the letters mean?
First 2 letters are the state, second 2 letters are the county. So you'll see, if you see, you know, VA, PG, Virginia, Prince George County, MD, HA, Maryland, Harford County, Maryland, that kind of thing. So it just kind of allows you to kind of quickly size it up. And you can also sort by these columns too. If I click on the MLS number column, it sorts up one way. If I click on it again, it sorts the other way. There's really only one on this list that has the PABU, all the rest of them have numbers.
When you're doing search for office listings, I wasn't bringing anything up for like our Langhorne office. Like, I don't know what I was doing wrong, if you could show me.
Sure, let's do a quick search. Let's go out
Like,
to,
I was looking for somebody's particular
Ours
listing.
doesn't show.
And our office or agent, like right there, where it says search for, back on the last screen you're just on.
okay.
Like, hit search, and then it says office or agent. Right there, like address search right there. Like inventory,
Oh, yeah, this is
I could
really
not
for looking
find-
at your own stuff. This
what is that?
the inventory search is for looking at your own production.
Okay, so I can't bring up all just my, okay, so that's why I wasn't.
Well, yeah,
finding
you
it.
can bring up your own anytime you want to. You could say the
No, I got
search.
mine, but I'm like, our office, I mean, when I say mine.
So the easiest way is to go out to search and go to residential sale and set up a search for your own office. Like when you're working floor time, let's say, you
Yeah.
wanna have a list of everything that's
Exactly.
active and pending,
Exactly.
probably right now, maybe even closed. You can go out here and just set up a search saying, show me everything in, let's just look in Bucks County right now. I'm gonna choose all Bucks County. And then come down here to say, show me active and anything that's pending right now. I'm gonna leave price out of it and all of that. What I need to do is go down to the bottom here and add a field. So additional fields, add, remove. And what I wanna do is add a field in here for office. So I'm gonna go in here and say, I could say list office name. I think the one we want here, let's just say we're looking for anything that's a listing of yours. Let's go in here and say list office.
I can find my own, I was trying to find the offices, so the office is what I was concerned.
And I think that's the right one. I think it's
Okay.
called
Fine,
list
yeah.
office. So let me add this one. I'm also gonna add the one called list office name, because one of these is the right one and the other one is not. So it looks like one of them I already had on here. So when I scroll down to the bottom here, so here's the list office name, and the way this thing works is you start typing in, I know you guys are KELWLML. If I start
That's
typing
part
it
of the
out.
problem. That's the problem, is right, I can never know. I don't know
Yeah,
what
so
the-
it's, I actually have the wrong column. The one that you want to add, this is called the list office name. The one that you really want is this one right here called list office. That's the name of the field. So if I go in here, type in KELWLML, there's you guys right there. So now I'm searching on that one office. But right now, there are, using the criteria that I have in all Bucks County, active, what did I do here?
That's exactly what I'm getting.
No, it's not bringing it up.
I actually don't want to do this in the MLS area field. Let's go into county Bucks.
For ours, you
I
have to
have
type
active
KW
pending.
space and start to type
Right.
Langhorne. KW space and start to type Langhorne, our office appears.
You can
Yeah, and if you just type the word Langhorne, it'll pop up too. But if you, I knew the
Didn't
code.
Pop up then.
No? Okay.
If you key in Keller Williams Real Estate,
Well, the problem
it
is there's
doesn't
so many,
pull, it does not pull up Keller Williams Real
KW,
Estate.
Langhorne.
Langhorne, or Bucks County stuff, it does.
yeah, the
not.
problem is there's so many, your office is in the system as KW Real Estate dash Langhorne.
But if you don't,
Yeah.
So the easiest way, if I go in here and I type in the word LANGHORNE, it's gonna bring up any office where the word Langhorne exists in here. And the word Langhorne is part of your office's name. But again, you also know the code, you can also type in KELWLML.
right,
You can put that in here too.
but it doesn't pull it up if you put in Keller Williams Real Estate Langhorne, correct?
Right, because that's not the way your office is known in the system. Easiest way to do it is just to type in the word Langhorne,
Good question, Jamie, thanks.
and then you'll get it.
Driving me
Or
up.
type in KELWLML.
KELWLM.
So the point here is, here's a list of 96 properties right now that are active or pending with your office. I would want to go to the results, take this search that I just did here that I'm going to use all the time, and I'm going to come down to the bottom of the search, I'm going to choose save, and I'm going to create a new saved search. And I'm going to call this thing, I'm going to call it KW Langhorne. Floor time. And just call it and save it. So now I have this thing anytime I need it, when I come in and I'm gonna take calls, I'm gonna go out here to search, I'm gonna go out to residential sale, and I'm gonna go out, actually, I'm not even gonna go to residential sale, I'm gonna come under search, I'm gonna go over here under saved searches. That's where that thing is. I don't really ever need to run this search again. I'm gonna go to the one right now called KW Langhorne Floor Time, and go out here and go right to results. And it brings up a list of all the properties that right now are active or pending. So that when people call in and say, hey, yeah, I'm outside this place at 26 Green Lane, yeah, sorry, that listing right now is pending. I can see it immediately. But we got this other one.
Can you get them in alphabetical order or anything? Or just
Yeah,
by
you can,
county or?
you can sort them however you want. I mean, right now, if you want them in alphabetical order, you can click on the address and you can sort them by the addresses. That also uses the house number too. You can click on the word status and just give me, let's say, all the actives first, and then the pendings, and then, actually, it's gonna go alphabetically there. So if you had closed in there too, it would be the active, then the closed, then the pendings.
Oh, I noticed that.
Or you can go and just make sure you're looking at all of them at a time. So I'm looking at 250 per page. Somebody says, hey, I'm outside this place on Martha. I could go right in here now, do a search on my page, Control F, which opens up this little Google Chrome window. Just type in M-A-R-T-H-A, and it shows me, there's Martha
That's what I
Drive
did.
right now.
That's what I was
And
like.
it brings me right to it.
Say a lot of
I can
them
click
are
on it and say,
street
yeah,
fronts.
it's
Control F.
available, it's 355, it's in Fallsington, it's detached.
say
What do you wanna say?
Control F is,
Yeah.
brings up the search.
Yeah, Control F will do a page search, really on any website that you're on. So if I go ahead and after this Crosby, Stills and Nash Pandora page, and I wanted to search Control F, and I say, show me anywhere where the word Derek appears, because I think Derek and the Dominoes were playing. Yeah, I spelled it wrong. So now it finds the word Derek because it's on the page. Yeah, so kind of cool. Great stuff, guys. All right, I want to show you listing management, and I want to open this up and just let you guys kind of just toss questions my way. So real quickly, let's go under my listings here. Let's go to add edit listings. This is the new listing management program in Bright MLS. Hopefully you've gone in here by now, because if you have not yet gone into my listings and gone to add edit listings and make believe that you want to put a listing in, I would highly suggest that you do it, because at some point, hopefully you will get a listing and you're going to need to put it in here or edit it. And you should practice it, because it really isn't difficult. It's just new. So if I wanted to put a new listing in, there's a thing here that says plus new listing. So add a new listing, I click on that. It's going to ask me questions. what kind of a property is it that you're trying to list here? Is it residential lease, which would be a rental, or a multifamily, like a duplex, triplex? Let's say it's residential. I'm gonna choose residential. We're gonna then ask you, what kind of structure is this particular property? Is it a row? Is it detached? Is it a townhouse? Is it unit flat? I'm gonna say it's detached. And then the ownership on the property is fee simple. I'm gonna pick that. And then down here at the bottom right, it's gonna say next. I'm gonna click on that. Brings me to a screen here where basically wants this help me find this property in public records so we can create that deep link between the MLS and the public records data. So if you know the tax ID, you can just type that in. You probably know the street number or the street name or something like that. Somebody give me an address. Maybe it's one of your listings, one of your friends' houses, or let's test this thing out.
621
Okay?
Valley Stream Circle.
621, street name is Valley Stream. So you can put in more if you want. You can put in an owner's name or a subdivision. But if I just click search right now, we'll find any property that's known as 621 Valley Stream, and Howard's the owner of that one. So we even tell you here, here's where we're about to put the flag or the pin, so you can move it around. If it's not in the right spot, you can move it right where you want it, and then click next. We're going to ask you more questions. We're going to ask you whether it's part of a homeowners association, is it water oriented, is it new construction, or you can even put a listing into the system, what we call it for comp purposes only, so that if you, let's say you sold a property for sale by owner, it was never in the MLS, and after this transaction goes to closing, you want to get that listing in here so that all the appraisers can use it, all the other agents in the MLS can use it as a comp. You can put it in for comp purposes only if you want. If you do that, it'll only let you put it into the closed status. But let's say this one is part of an HOA and it's new construction, and I click next. We're basically going to bring you to this screen here. We're going to ask you all these questions. We're going to basically tell you how many things are left before you can publish this thing. So there's 2 things left in the location section. Over here in lot and parking, there are 2 things I have to put in here before I can publish. As we're moving through on this page, if you haven't seen this before, up here it tells you to move through these really easily. You can hit Control and I. So let's say I was here and I hit Control I. It's going to bring me to the next mandatory field. Control I will bring me to the next. Control I will bring me to the next. Control I will bring me to the next. It just keeps moving you through them.
Why doesn't it auto-populate on that lot? Okay.
Did it not do that?
No. It says, it says, where did you get the information?
That was-
If it auto-populated from public, go to the lot.
Lot and parking.
It says lot size source. If it auto-populates, why doesn't it tell you that it's from the assessor?
Yeah, it's good. It's a good point. I'm not sure. I think we may know about that as being.
There's a
A
couple
defect?
things like that in there, like taxes.
We're asking you for a
Yeah, it was
choice.
asking me for source, and I'm like, you auto-populated from the source, why shouldn't you just know the source? I mean, if you wanna change it, I could see changing it, like if you wanna change the square footage and you change it, then it asks for the source.
Right.
But
I
if it's
agree.
auto-populating from public records, it should automatically populate that field as well.
I agree with that. Yeah, thanks for that. These are some of the little nitty-gritty details that we need to put the finishing touch on here. This is the kind of stuff that's going on right now, like all the little tiny things that were not exactly right. that
Growing
were,
pains.
there's, an annoyance. This is an annoyance. We know that this
Yeah, it's time
lot,
consuming.
exactly. We know where this came from. It came from public records. It's lot side acre. So why should you have to tell us where it came from when we're the ones that put it there? Yeah.
Right.
So I agree. So we're going to get all that stuff squared away. We're really highly focused on right now on doing this finishing touch stuff so that we can move on and start putting the new cool stuff into this program. So guys, just get in here and play with this. If you haven't played with it, it's very easy to use. Photos and tours, you go in here and you put pictures in, it's really easy to add photos. We designed the program so that, in terms of photos, that you had to put at least one picture in, but we got some pushback on that. Like when you click on upload photos here, actually you can get around this, and you can click on this section here called upload photos actually.
No, it's the drop-down menu, it'll say seller does not want.
Yeah, that's where it is. I want to show you here too, we just added Google Drive into this thing last week, so you can upload from Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, or the photos that are on your computer. But yeah, if you hit this little drop down here, you can now choose no photo per seller. Like we initially, when we first released the program, we had a mandatory one photo that had to be in here, but some agent said, we don't want to, what if I don't want to put a picture in or the seller says I don't want a photo, which most sellers definitely want photos. By the way, you can put up to 150 pictures in here now, which is also ridiculous. So we just added that too. So you can not put a picture in if you want to, but keep in mind, when you upload a listing without a photo, you do your seller a gigantic disservice, and then it goes out to all these third-party websites without that photo. Even if you published it temporarily, any client that would see this now on a third-party website might immediately discount your listing as being, there might be something wrong with it, because there must be something bad with this place if they didn't even put in one picture, so. Any questions about this?
No, I have a question.
And I think it's really basic. So let's go back out here, let's open it up for Q&A, guys, on whatever you want to talk about. Howard?
Prorations, do they fix prorations on closing costs and seller and buyer closing costs?
Yeah, there's an issue in the seller closing costs right now. I'll show it to you. We're aware of it. It's actually going to be fixed tonight.
There's also the buyer is a problem too.
If there's an issue on the buyer side, I would want to see an exact example because we haven't been able to reproduce that. We've heard some people saying it. Like for this particular listing here, if I wanted to do a seller net sheet, where we have a defect right now is, so seller net sheet, of course, we're trying to figure out what's the seller going to walk away with if they sell this property, let's say for 205. The issue that we have right now is if I went into preferences here, so preferences is a way to set up default fees that I want to be on this report every single time. If I went down here and I added a new fee here called conveyancing, and I set it up that I want it to be a charge every time of $195 that we charge a conveyancing fee, that this conveyancing fee comes over here onto the sheet right now as a credit instead of a charge. That's a defect. That's it's a known issue. Matter of fact, we figured it out. A lot of people were talking about it on social media. We knew about it too. It's actually getting fixed tonight, overnight. There's a hot fix happening.
There's more than that. I did one in New Jersey, and they said the transfer tax was 187.5%.
350% I have right now.
350%. That can't be right.
And if I could
I know New
elaborate-
Jersey has high taxes, but that one's.
If I could elaborate, it also needs to be moved to pending. So if you wanted to test out that first question from Lisa Longenbach and move it to pending and see if it asks if you want to automatically have it close, you want to do that. But
Yeah, I'll take that as something that's obviously an issue. I wrote it up, and
It's-
I'll take it back as something for us to look
the
at.
extended piece of this, so it's 194 Franklin is the name of the street, with a Y, Franklin with a Y. And when you
Let
go
me look
into,
it up real quick. Let's
sure,
do a quick address search here.
What comes up 350?
transfer tax,
Oh, jeez.
FRANKLYN.
Okay.
YN.
That's all right, it
That's
starts
it,
with
he's got
field,
it.
so it finds it. So here's the
So-
listing,
So when you do a seller in this instance,
okay?
the transfer tax, when you run through the document, and I have it on my screen, comes up 350%. So when I try to adjust it and make it 2%, which is correct, it won't save it.
Let's put some information in here, let's see what it comes up with. Let's say this is gonna settle the end of February. Leave
That's
the
right,
price
right.
the same, transfer
Oh,
tax is
700.
700. All right, that's.
Yeah, and I will also tell you,
Holy crap,
here's
that's
my
really bad.
frustration also, so I did call Bright, I emailed Bright, and they keep sending me back, well, if you just change it and save it, that fixes it. Why shouldn't I have to change it?
No,
and
you
save it?
shouldn't have to change it, no, that's unacceptable. That's exactly why I'm here today, one of the reasons. So I'm gonna take this back. I don't think we saw this one here yet. 700% transfer tax, no way accurate.
Thank you.
Never sell the house.
Yeah.
We're under contract, thank God. I don't wanna get that
So-
transfer.
This is, and again, in the interim, in the immediacy, of course, you wanna fix that, but that's not the answer.
Well,
going
thankfully, I had the one from
Yeah.
Trent.
Yeah, if somebody told you, sorry, we're not gonna fix it, then I hope you didn't get that message.
I got, here's how to fix it. Well, that's not how you fix it.
So I wanna let you guys know, that if you find something wrong with the closing cost program, that for the next month or so, if you find something wrong, I'm gonna pile my business cards here, I'll give you all my contact information. Get it to me directly, and then I will go right to the team. Steve Grubb is the guy behind the scenes that runs our closing cost program. I'll go right to him, I'll have him fix it. I'm gonna give this one to him today. I mean, like the next 10 minutes, yeah.
Okay, I actually contacted, well, I've tried to contact Bright numerous times.
And then the
No
big
one has
long,
ever answered the chat window. I emailed them, I got a response 2.5 weeks later. Now, I understand newer systems have bugs, and yet I'm very dismayed that on these social media sites, I see people in the system for a year and a half, and the same things are happening.
Yep.
And there's still, nobody answers the phone. I've been disconnected because you guys went home for the day. It's, why the lack of support?
well, yeah, first of all, we're getting so many more calls. I'm not here to defend it. You should not be having a frustrating experience calling the support center. Somebody should pick up the chat. I've heard that one before. You know, the fact of the matter is, I mean, I think we thought we would get a certain amount of support interactions. We thought there were so many we were going to have to deal with, and we just got so many more. And it's mostly from the south. The Trend area, really, we're not really getting that much. We're not really getting that many people trying to contact us, but they're really mostly pissed because when they call in or they try to get a chat, nobody picks it up.
But this
or-
has been going on not since we joined, this is going on well before we joined.
Yeah, of course, keep in mind,
Why did we get
Bright went
added,
live
why
back
did
in
we get added
September.
to a system that
Yep.
had so many issues that have not been resolved yet, without support to help us?
Yeah, it's frustrating, I hear you. It's not like this one, there's an enormous amount of stuff going on behind the scenes with the amount of data that was transferred and the number of interactions we're dealing with. Again, it's not an excuse, I don't want you to take it as an excuse. We want only perfection inside here. Honestly, there's a lot of stuff, on some of the social media sites, there's a few Facebook pages I've been invited to where people are screaming. There's a lot of people that are talking about things that are actually completely incorrect. They're like, hey, how come the system doesn't do this? And it does, they just don't know that it does it. Or there's this thing that's missing and it's not there and it is there. But then there are some legitimate things that pop up where, hey, you're calculating 700% transfer tax, you know? Like, so we're on all of it. So this will start to go away and we'll get back to normalcy. So again, for the frustration you're feeling, calling in, not getting someone to pick up on a chat or,
I'm worried because the people who have been in this system for over a year are experiencing the same
Yes.
thing. I'm not seeing this as you added us and there's glitches in the system and some people don't, you know, I mean, people are gonna gripe if they don't know a new system, I understand that. That doesn't seem to be what's happening.
in some cases, there are some things that are still an issue, but really, most of the things that people are complaining about, we've fixed. There's a misconception, like in parts of central Pennsylvania where they were so attached to their MLS system. We took them away from something that was very different and put them into this system. They joined it. We didn't take them away from anything really. They decided to become part of Bright MLS. And some of them kicking and screaming just didn't want to do it. They questioned from the very get-go, why did we do this? This same kind of thing happened back in 1995 when we took folks away from an MLS that they knew in Burlington County, New Jersey, and they moved them into this first trend system. And everybody for the first year just screamed and yelled. The biggest difference was there wasn't Facebook. You know, they screamed and yelled and said, why did we do this? This was a mistake. And then it all just kind of at some point starts to dissolve and go away because the things that everyone was asking about are fixed. Whatever's not fixed, I would just tell you guys, if you find something that's wrong, first of all, closing costs, get it into my hands directly. But for anything else you find that's wrong, if you click on this little bullseye icon, on this listing right here, let's say the status is wrong, or you find something else that's incorrect with this listing, you can click on this bullseye right here, and it immediately starts what we call a case behind the scenes with our support center. And you can basically anonymously report this thing. We know you reported it, but if it involves another agent where the agent has the status wrong, or the agent put the wrong information in their remarks or something like that, we will go to that other agent and that other broker, but we won't tell them that, hey, Howard called us and told us this.
You can always tell them.
Yeah, but you can pick your topic here, and you can tell us more about it. And that's the easiest way to get this process started because it's very easy for us to follow it and solve it. But again, right now it's about volume, and I apologize for any deficiency in that process. Howard.
You know, when Trend first came online, they actually hired me as an independent contractor for support. Did they do that with this system?
Yeah, there's a lot of former realtors that
I
are,
don't mean for realtors, but do they hire extra people to?
yeah, we did.
Okay.
We hired a lot of extra people, but, you know, it takes a while for those people to ramp up. There's a lot of support behind the scenes with very experienced support people that they can go to if they don't know the answer. But probably there was not enough of them. I mean, we thought we had enough of them, but, you know, when you call in and there's 80 people in front of you, by the way, if you call in before 11 o'clock in the morning or after 4 p.m. in the afternoon, you will definitely have a less busy experience. If you call in at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., it's not as bad as when you call in if you call in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's kind of like the busiest time period is between like 11 and 4 or something like that. So if you call later or earlier, you'll get an easier situation. And the call volume is starting to decrease over the course. Every week we see less and less interactions. So again, if you're struggling in any way and you've had to call in or you try to do a chat, somebody didn't pick up or you had to wait a long time, there's no easy way around it. I'm sorry that that's the experience you're having. We'll be past that sometime soon.
I have a question about the act as function,
Mhm.
because I'm an assistant to a team, so it's.
We call it impersonated.
Yeah, and
Yep.
we've set that up, I even was looking at it with agent coordinators, Michelle,
Okay.
and we haven't been able to get it to work, so now when I have to look at listings for any team member, I have to log out, log in, I mean, obviously, yes, I can do that.
Let me get your card before you leave. Or what's your name?
Lauren,
Lauren.
yeah, Bertel, Burtell, I'm the assistant.
Burtell.
Yeah, I'm the assistant to Nadine Simon's company.
So you need to impersonate Nadine.
Nadine, Michael Martin, and Jill Batman.
So if you could write, well, let me get it all from Nadine. What's her last name?
Simonto, Simantov.
And Michael,
Martin.
Martin. And who else?
Jill Badnew, BABNEW.
EABNEW.
So I do have my own account, I mean, I had it in Trend, so I
Okay.
could log in as myself and then, and I've looked at both of their,
Can you log in as Maureen or on?
Maureen goes in as you too.
Yeah, but you can do both of us, right?
working for you.
Yeah, so
Well,
right after this meeting, I'll get one of the support center supervisors to get somebody right on this. Contact your cell phone number and we'll get this thing fixed. So we'll get it solved. So this is more of the disruptive part of this whole thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean.
It was all working in Trends, like, why do you take me away from Trends? There's a bigger thing going on, but then there's this problem that we gotta fix, so I'll escalate this immediately right after the meeting. If anybody else is having a similar issue like that with impersonate, get that information to me too, and I'll escalate it as well. I can't escalate everything here, but I certainly, part of my reason for coming here today is to help you, so. What else can I help you with? Who's got questions about anything in Bright MLS? Maybe, or Laura?
And then
Laura, sorry.
we have another class coming after us, so
Okay, good.
we have to wrap it up.
What
Thank
time do we
you.
need to be done by?
Like now.
Now,
So
okay.
maybe this could be the last one.
Okay, good, let's take the last question, and then I'll get out of your way.
It's about the Basil Market, the CDOM.
Mhm.
Can you just clarify, so we have a listing that was previously listed, and when Trend, it was the 30-day, if it was off market for 30 days, when I went back on, it was started at 0, is it 60 days?
No, when you take a listing off the market, first of all, taking it off the market means ending the first contract, which of
Well,
course,
it wasn't our listing to begin with, but like right now it's saying days on market, 5, but it says CDOM 113.
right, because it's carrying over the days on market from the previous listing, because it was listed within 60 days of the last listing.
Within 60 days.
Yeah. So it used to be, if you took a listing, let's say you took a listing that expired, Howard had it, and you waited more than a month and you listed it again with your company, because you waited at least 30 days and you put it on the market on day 31, it would not carry his days on market over in what we call now PMP. It wouldn't carry it over to the new listing.
Well, I did call it in and I got like a service ticket, account complaint number or whatever it was, and they said that they would take it off. I mean, what's the likeliness that they would do that?
Well, everything that we talked about there is in Bright now, it's 60 days in between. So if there were not 60 days in between it, it's taking that days on market from the previous listing, bringing it over into the CDOM field in Bright, which replaces that PMP field. PMP was property marketing period, which nobody knew what it was. CDOM is another field, nobody knows what it is, but it's cumulative days on market. Honestly, between me, you, and the wall, I'd like to see CDOM just go away. It makes no sense to me. I don't think anybody cares about it. It's a bunch
You
of
can look at
BS.
the history anyway.
Yeah, any agent can look at the history on any of these listings. We're talking right now about, do we even need CDOM at all? Because if you're bringing over someone else's baggage, you're bringing over their days on market into the CDOM on your new listing. Some agents think that's something they don't want. I don't know. I'd like to see CDOM go away completely. We're talking about it. Okay, guys, look, I'll let you go. I'm glad you came here today. I want to also let you know